voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan, 87.9.
Lamig, init, ulan, hangin, kumakalingang kalikasan. Ating alagaan at ingatan. Kumusta na ang ating kalikasan? Pag-usapan natin ang kalagayan ng mundo at kung paano tayo makatutulong sa pagkalinga sa ating tahanan. Kasama sina Father J.M. Manzano ng Kapisanan ni Jesus at si Dr. Abercio V. Milton. Ito ang Tatak Kalikasan sa Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM.
Baka naman pwede.
Baka naman pwede?
Baka naman pwede.
Mga isyung napapanahon ating pag-usapan.
Baka naman pwede.
Gamit ang mga pananaw mula sa iba't ibang kalinangan.
Baka naman pwede.
Mula sa Institute of Philippine Culture, kami inyong samahan, tayo'y maghuntahan. Dito lang sa
Baka naman pwede.
Tuwing Huwebes, alas 3 ng hapon, dito lang sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan. The voice of the Blue Eagle. You're listening to the voice of the Blue Eagle.
You know what it
Voice
is?
of the Blue
On the
Eagle.
Campus Radio.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9. Mamangha sa lalim at ganda ng ating kultura at tiwang makabayan, sa mga salita at pahina, sa tulong ng mga guro at manunulat ng panitikang Pilipino. Halina't tuklasin ang yaman ng ating panitikan, ang pamana ng ating lahi. Kasama si Binibining Andrea Trinidad, Ginoong Jethro Tenorio at Ginoong Yol Hamendang ng Kagawaran ng Filipino ng Pamantasang Ateneo de Manila. Ito ang Sari-Sari, ang Catholic Mass Media Awards Special Citation Awardee para sa pinakamagaling na palatuntunang pang-edukasyon sa radyo. Dito sa Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow JustCom PH on Spotify and JustCom Music in YouTube.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention?
If it's entertainment you crave, catch us on New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores.
New Wave.
Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m.
New Wave.
See you there.
JustCom Music Ministry, your daily dose of inspiration. Follow JustCom PH on Spotify and JustCom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Hello mga Katipuneros. This is Father Ro Atilano SJ. Listen to our serving of stories that will inspire you and keep you going. Kaya tara na at lasapin ang masarap na timpla ng buhay. Welcome po kayo sa The Parable Cafe every Tuesdays at 3:30 p.m. only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Bahala sa iyo, kaibigan ko.
Lo and behold, PUP Radio Conference 2023 presented by DZMC Young Communicators Guild is set to return with its latest edition entitled Maniobra, Unveiling the Illusion Behind Public Deception on April 14, 2023 in Tanghalang PUP. Remember, behind every curtain lies the truth.
Rejoice, refresh, renew, and reflect. Join us for an hour of music that uplifts the soul. Listen to your favorite Jesuit music ministry artists. This is JMM Radio. JMM Radio. Get your day's dose of inspirational music. Tune in to JMM Radio every Wednesday from 1 to 2 p.m. Only here on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. Radyo Katipunan. News, insights, inspiration. Radyo Katipunan. Down from the hill and down to the world. Radyo Katipunan, the voice of the Blue Eagle.
Get your daily dose of inspiration through our music. Follow Justcom PH on Spotify and Justcom Music on YouTube.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Pagbati po mga Katipuneros, this is Cardinal Chito Tagle. Join me every week on the Word Exposed on Air, here on the voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM, the Ateneo Campus Radio.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
And there was another drive-by shooting.
The fire we reported at the old fire hall is still burning out.
Do you sometimes feel confused or lost in the complications and complexities of life? Do you feel drained, listless, or exhausted from the daily burdens and responsibilities? Why not seek our campus ministers on air every Tuesday from 2 to 3 in the afternoon? Listen to our counselors from the Loyola School's Campus Ministry Office as they ground our lives in our faith, in our school's spiritual tradition. Campus Ministers on Air. Be guided, be inspired, be blessed. Listen to our Campus Ministers on Air.
Justcom Music Ministry, music that uplifts the soul. Follow Justcom PH on Spotify and Justcom Music on YouTube. We are also on iTunes and Deezer.
Keep the Word of God strong in our lives. Keep the spirit of hope and the grace of healing alive every day. Keep the faith. Join us every morning for the celebration of the Holy Eucharist with the Jesuits from the Philippine province. Keep the faith. Daily Mass for Hope and Healing streams from Monday to Sunday at 8 o'clock in the morning on Radyo Katipunan's Facebook page, YouTube channel, Twitter feed, and other social media partners.
To listen to music that uplifts the soul, follow Justcom PH on Spotify and Justcom Music on YouTube. Our music is also available on iTunes and Deezer.
Radyo Katipunan, 87.9 FM.
Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan. Sa The Blue Eagle kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay at tenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng kwela. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, Katipunero sugod, todo sa kayod, dunong at tulog. Lipat na Blue Eagle, kaning giting nagigil. Blue and white, one big fight. Radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, radyo, Katipunan, radyo, 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 Katipunan, radyo, Katipunan.
If it's entertainment you crave, catch us on New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. See you there.
Hi everyone!
everyone, and good afternoon. Coming to you live on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM via Zoom. I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. So please, take this hour to sit back and relax because this is New Wave. We are halfway through the week and halfway through April, and joining us today will be a very fun guest. But before that, today I have a co-host. You know him. He's in the hour after me, but right now we bamboozled him to come join us today. So please welcome my co-host, special guest, Sir Lester Mendiola from JMM Radio. Hi, Sir Lester.
Hi, Max. Good afternoon. Welcome to New Wave. This is not JMM Radio, but I am hijacking Max's, joining her co-hosts because I'm a super fan of our guest this afternoon. Yeah.
Yes. And we're excited to have you here also. So, Sir Les, before we start, tell us about the recent JESCOM releases, activities, and what the Ateneo community can look forward to.
Well, we have released a new album, which is a soundtrack of our faith. We released it last Black Saturday. And that album actually features new and classic Jesuit music ministry songs performed by mainstream theater and popular artists like Between Escalante, Eric Santos, Jolina Magdangal, and many more. So if you haven't listened to the new album of JMM, you can look it up on any of the digital music platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. And we have a couple of lyric videos also on our YouTube channel, that's Just Music. And then aside from that, what else? We're having a concert on April 20th.
Yes, exactly.
Where you are going to do VO, right?
Of course. Wow, spoilers.
So aside from this soundtrack of our faith, we have a concert happening on April 29 at the Shrine of Saint Therese in Newport Boulevard in Pasay City. So for you to get your free tickets, you can go here to the Tangiyaman store in our building in Sonolux in Seminary Drive at the Ateneo. Or if you are near to the Shrine of Saint Therese, you can go there to claim your free tickets.
All right. It's completely free, right? Is there a way to get
Yes.
tickets online?
It's free. You can have tickets reserved. You can either text or message a Facebook page of Jesuit Communications or the Jesuit Music Ministry.
All right, we got it. So, of course, relevant links and notices will be on the comment section. So, okay, let's get to it. I know everyone is very excited for this, especially you, Sir Les. So, our guest today is a singer-songwriter who is celebrating his 8th year in the music industry. He's been dubbed the country's Prince of Soul, and now he is reinventing himself with this new single by exploring a new genre as he begins this new chapter of his career with ABS-CBN Music. So, to discuss this new era of his life, his single Ulit Ulit, please welcome the Voice Philippines Season 2 champion, Jason D. Hi, Jason!
Hello! Hi, everyone! Hi, Max! Hello, New Wave! Hello, Radyo Katipunan! Thank you so much for having me this afternoon.
Thank you for joining us this afternoon. So, not music related first, how have you been these past few weeks?
I've been really good. I'm really excited promoting the single, and it's been a really fun journey. I'm super excited because this song means a lot to me. So I'm happy to be promoting the single, and I'm happy to be promoting it here this afternoon. So the past couple of days has been really good.
That's great. That's great. So we'll get to your single in a bit. But of course, for the people who are here, the newcomers, where did your love for music start? I'm sure you've gotten this question a lot, but for the Ateneo community, let's hear it.
Yeah, very, very young. I remember my mom telling me that ever since I was a child, I grew up in the MTV generation.
Yes.
So my mom would always tell me that instead of watching cartoons as a young kid, I would watch MTV instead. So I loved watching music videos, and I would hum along and I would sing along. And I was young. I didn't realize that I was on pitch and I was on key. but my mom spotted it, and she was like, there could be something here. There could be we can explore this potential. So she enrolled me in voice lessons. I took voice lessons when I was a kid. I was probably 10 years old. And yeah, ever since I've been taking voice lessons here and there. And I think because of that, and because, you know, my love for music and music videos, it made me realize that this could be something that's, you know, this could be a viable career for me. So I wanted to really explore it. And I've always wanted to have a career in the music industry. And I think during my time in the mid 2010s, reality singing competitions was still like one of the main things to make it into the industry. So I've always been a fan of the Voice franchise, and I always wanted it to be here in the Philippines. So once I heard that the franchise was coming here to the Philippines, I wanted to
try out
audition to try out. So yeah, and thankfully, you know, I was blessed enough to be on it and to you know eventually win. So yeah.
I was about to say you weren't just on it; you literally won. But yes,
yes, yes. You mentioned that you started singing when you were a kid. What's the first song that you seriously learned to sing? Is there a particular favorite you know, a song that comes to mind that you loved singing when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think this is quite interesting because when I really like have gotten consciousness of like learning music and understanding music, I think it was around the time I was 4 years old, and the biggest song at that time was "Zombie" by the Cranberries. And I feel like that was one of like my earliest memory of like learning a song was "Zombie" by the Cranberries. I remember just like singing along to it and singing loudly. But I think one of the songs that I really took seriously was "My Heart Will Go On," probably because like it's one of the biggest songs in '97 or '96. I was 6 or 7 years old, and yeah, my voice was still high, so I could still reach those notes. So yeah, probably those two songs, "Zombie" by the Cranberries and "My Heart Will Go On."
Nice. So, okay, now like we know that you were on The Voice and you're on ASAP right now, and both of these involve weekly preparations and also like a lot of stress. So I usually ask like our guests who have been part of shows like this, who are part of shows like this, how do you manage the weekly preparation? Because it's like you prepare for in The Voice, you prepare for one song and then you sing it that week, and then ASAP similar, it's a weekly show. So how do you manage it?
Well, it's a lot different during The Voice because there's a lot of stakes involved because it's a competition. So usually during The Voice we would get like the prompts or like the songs that we are going to sing. We submit the songs that we intend to sing for the weekend. It happens during the weekdays. So yeah, a lot of rehearsals, a lot of blockings, a lot of preparations for the competition, and then the actual competition happens on the weekends. So a lot of rehearsals, a lot of meeting with the coaches. My coach was Sarah Geronimo. So we set a date to really go over the songs that I'm going to sing during the weekends. So yeah, it's a lot different. It's a different preparation during The Voice and with ASAP. With ASAP, on the other hand, we usually get the study material during the weekdays. So probably like around Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, and we get the study materials. We rehearse it on our own at home. We look at our lyric divisions, and if there are dance numbers, they send us dance videos so we can practice on ourselves. And then Saturdays we go to the studio, we rehearse it, we have blockings and stuff like that. Usually for the more complicated production numbers, so like the opening numbers, or like if it's more complex, we do blockings on Saturdays. But since there's a lot of us, a lot of artists for ASAP, we can't really like take all of people's like time because everyone
of course.
have different times, and
so
exactly. So usually we just do it on the morning of on Sunday. So we go to the studio really early, 6-7 a.m. and then we rehearse, we practice, and then we go live. But since the pandemic, we just do one live once a month. And then for the rest of the month, we taped a couple of episodes, which are then aired throughout the month. So it's a lot less hectic compared to pre-pandemic, where it's like weekly. It's like it's more frantic, it's more chaotic, but it's a fun chaos. You know, I enjoy.
Of course.
I kind of miss it actually. Like every week, we look forward to the live weekends, but now since try to be safe and we're trying to be more mindful of other people's schedules and safety. So that's the dynamic so far of doing ASAP. It's like one live once a month and then taped for the rest of the month.
All right, that's actually the most detailed insight I've ever gotten into how ASAP is post-pandemic, but I'm very happy to hear about it. And then I feel that sometimes the happy chaos because you're enjoying what you're doing. So that's great. And actually that leads me to my next question is when you're singing, because of course we've heard you sing solo, we've seen you sing in groups, and you just talked about how you have solo numbers, group numbers, and obviously when you sing there's a headspace for it, especially depending on song. So when you're singing by yourself, like a solo versus when you're collaborating or in a group, how different is your headspace for both of the different situations?
I think for me personally, there's a huge difference. I think in terms of how you attack the song and how you interpret the song. With me personally, when I'm performing solo, all I have to think about is myself. All I have to think about is how I'm gonna attack it, how I'm gonna perform it, how I'm gonna interpret the message of the song. So I'm just very internal, very in my head, and internalizing the message of the song. With a group, on the other hand, I have to be mindful of other people, and it's a collaborative effort, and you can't just think about yourself. You can't be selfish in that regard. You can't just going about doing runs and doing whatever you want to do. You can do that if you're doing a solo performance. It's you're performing by yourself. But in a group setting, you have to be mindful with your colleagues and your other performers, because it dictates how the performance is gonna sound. Because if everyone's trying to one up each other, it's gonna sound messy. It's gonna sound so chaotic. But it has to be symbiotic. You have to be mindful of your other colleagues so that you guys sound one. You guys sound united. So especially when you're doing harmonies and stuff like that, and you guys are performing with other singers, and the song requires you to sound that you're like an ensemble. So there's a lot of things like that. I always try to be mindful of how others sing also. So it's a collaborative effort when you're singing with a group. Yeah.
I'm just a follow-up question on that. I'm curious, when you perform with other singers, do you have the freedom to style the way you're going to sing a particular part, or is there a musical director that asks you, okay, this is how you this is the tune that you will take for that particular number?
I think it usually depends on the song. When you guys have your own specific parts that are assigned to you, I think you have the license to interpret it however you want. But I think if you guys sing together on the same line, that's when you have to be more careful of how you're going to attack it. I think what I do usually is I communicate with my co-performers. I ask them, okay, how are we gonna do this? How are we gonna perform this? If we're gonna do a run or a riff, can we do this together? Can we do this so that we sound one? Or if we're gonna harmonize on this part, if we're gonna do a run on this part. So it feels like it's something that's more controlled and more. It seems like it felt like we talked about it prior, and it's planned. So I like to talk and collaborate with and also like what you said, Sir Lester, there's sometimes there's a musical director who tells us how we're going to attack the performance or how we're supposed to sing it. Also we have to be mindful of the kind of song that we're gonna sing. If it's more of something more solemn or something more classic, I think there's you don't really have to like put on a lot of like accoutrements while you're performing it. So it also helps to be mindful of what song you're gonna be performing.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the performers in our audience right now are taking notes because these are very valuable tips, especially when singing together. So now let's decompress for a bit. I looked through your Instagram and you're quite the fashion icon. And like, I saw your nails. Nice nails. So
Thank you.
so is this something that you also enjoy?
Yes, I think I've always been a more experimental dresser, I think.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've gotten more confident doing it. I've always been like a follower of like fashion and stuff like that and trends and styles. But I think I've recently been more confident in like expressing myself through clothing, especially with like the new music and stuff, because I feel like it's another outlet for me to express my creativity.
Right.
So I also like to match the image and like the style and like my clothing with the sound of the music that I'm performing or that I'm releasing. So like for example, like recently with my single, my latest the latest music that I'm releasing, it's very 70s, very like disco inspired. So lately I've been wearing a lot of suits that are more embellished and more sparkly and more, flamboyant. And I've been very inspired by a lot of 70s music icons, Elton John and Freddie Mercury and David Bowie. So I've been incorporating a lot of their aesthetics into my music also. But I've always been a fan of music acts that have a very distinct personal style. That you can you can tell them apart from other musicians. It's like, for example, when Bruno Mars released his collaboration with Anderson .Paak with Silk Sonic, you can really tell the aesthetic as 70s and disco, and everything is like world building. Everything matches with everything. The music, the style, the aesthetic. So I try to do that with myself as well. So I'm in that headspace right now, which is very very disco, very very stylized, very sparkly, very joyous.
Very sparkly, very joyous.
So yeah, I think clothing for me and fashion is just another outlet for my creativity and self-expression.
Of course. And we saw many of your different outfits and very different Jasons in the music video. So we'll get to that. So we'll get to that in a little while. But first, Teresa, do you have anything before we discuss his single?
Yep. I guess my next question is we just came from many cycle of strict lockdowns, and hopefully we won't go through any of that again. But we are still in the pandemic. So I guess that being said, how would you keep your voice in shape and well conditioned? And are there things that you do or you take to keep your voice in shape? Is there a difference of how you take care of yourself pre-pandemic to now during the pandemic?
Yeah, I think with me personally, taking care of my voice is just using it. It's just singing, constantly singing, because it's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it atrophies. So I just sing at home, especially during the pandemic. I try to sing at least once a day. I mean, there's not really a day where I'm not singing. So I use it. I just have to practice and practice. I make use of the technology, YouTube. Since so YouTube, there's a lot of vocal exercises that you can use. So I try to use that also. Yeah, it's just using the muscle, using it, because if you don't use it, we have a term, parang nangangalawang siya if you don't use it. So I just practice a lot. I think also because of the pandemic, I've been more mindful of using it. Kasi yun nga, if I don't use it, mangangalawang nga siya. I realized this when the first time we got back on ASAP, when we did live again. I was like, oh, my voice gets tired easily now. Because usually before I could just sing on and I don't get tired. But now I really have to make a conscious effort of using it and rehearsing it, I have to warm up, I have to cool down, I have to do vocal exercises right before I perform, so that it's stronger, it's more stable. So yeah, those are usually what I do. Of course, I keep a packet of lozenges in my bag just to keep it lubricated. I drink a lot of water. I noticed for myself that I try to avoid a lot of dairy right before, because I feel like my voice gets blocked and it produces more like mucus,
Of course.
and like my airways and stuff like that. So I try to avoid dairy and spicy foods right before, but after I eat a lot. But
Ice cream, let's go.
Yes, if the performance is done, I'm not singing anymore. Let's go ice cream.
Yeah, of course. That's like the first thing, like everyone I talk to, like after saying, like the first thing they look for, ice cream, milkshakes, the cold dairy stuff
Exactly.
that they can't have before.
Milk tea.
Oh, milk tea. This is random story this morning. I was so excited. I was like, okay, I dropped my dog off at the vet. I was like, I'm gonna go get some milk tea. They didn't have pearls.
Oh my, what's the point?
Exactly. So I was just like, okay, next time. So now, speaking of frustration, let's talk about your new song, Ulit Ulit. So it's your first under ABS-CBN. So please tell us how this song came to be.
Yes, I'm very excited for the single. Actually, I wrote this song a couple of years back already, probably 2017, 2016. So it's an old song that I've had just written in the bank, just in my voice app, my voice memos in my notes app. So I've had this song for a while, and I always wanted to release it, but I feel like it's just perfect timing, because I feel like when I first had it recorded and arranged, it didn't feel right for me. So I just, kept it in the bag for a while. And then when I finally got to work with ABS-CBN Music, with Star Music, I also feel like it's the right time right now, right atmosphere, because there's a resurgence of disco music and pop music and dance music. So I want to ride the wave, because it's the perfect time. So I wanted to release something that's disco inspired, that's danceable, that makes you wanna move, makes you wanna groove. And also, like, the past couple of releases that I've had were a lot of ballads, and this time I wanted to perform something that I also want to dance along to, and I want to perform, and I want to exactly. So yeah, the song is there's like a juxtaposition, because of the message of the song is quite it's a bit of a downer. The sound,
it's frustrating.
Exactly, but the sound of the song itself is lively, and you want to dance. So there's like a tug and pull between the two concepts. So yeah, the song talks about just being in a relationship for a while, and you come to the point in the relationship where you're always fighting, and the thing that you fight about and the arguments are always the same. It's the same thing over and over again, and it gets frustrating. It gets it's parang nakakarinde, parang nakakasawa na you're always fighting about the same thing, and no one wants to compromise, no one wants to listen to each other, no one wants to come to a conclusion on how to fix it. So yeah, that's basically the thesis of the song, and it's kind of like a desperate plea to the loved one, like, can we just please fix this? Can you please listen to me? Do you still want to be in this, or do you want to end it? Or do you want to end it, or is there something we can do to fix it? So that's basically the concept of the song.
Right. Actually, when I was listening to it, that's what I found relatable, because it's a situation that isn't limited to being in a romantic relationship. I've felt that same tug of war with friends, academic group mates, many other situations. It's a universal experience. But for you, as the person who wrote it, and knowing now that you actually wrote it a few years ago and released it now, did there come a point where the meaning of the song changed for you, especially because when you wrote it, you were in a completely different time of your life as compared to now? So did the meaning ever change? Did it grow with you?
Yeah, exactly what you mentioned. You can take a lot of different interpretations from the song. It's not just romantic. It can also be about friends or work, or your workmates, or even your family members. Sometimes you have your arguments with your mom, and sometimes or with your brother, your other loved ones. It gets frustrating also. So I think also, for me, my takeaway has also evolved with the passing of the time, because when I was writing it, it wasn't necessarily like a personal experience of mine. I was taking like different inspirations from like other people that I know. Because unfortunately, yeah, I mean, like fortunately, I haven't been in that same exact like situation yet, and hopefully, I don't ever want to end up in that kind of relationship. But
Of course.
yeah, I think I've gotten different interpretations from it from like other people who have listened to the song. Say, oh, I relate to that, but in this manner. Oh, I relate to that, but in a different way. So I feel like throughout the years, the song has gotten different lives, different interpretations. So yeah, it's continuing to evolve, which I find very fascinating.
Les.
Yeah.
Sir Lester? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, you.
Yep. I guess main question is there a particular line in that song? I know this is one of your original songs that you composed. Is
Yeah.
there a particular line that when you were making that song, what's your favorite and why?
Probably the second verse. The line is like gusto mo pa ba o ayaw mo na ba? Huwag mo akong gawing tanga. Puso ko nito, isip gulong-gulo. Napupuno na, tama na. And it's like your internal dialogue. And also, yeah, it's like pleading to the person you're talking to that let me know, because I'm so tired of playing these games. Can you please tell me if you're still in this to fix it, or you want to end this already so I can move on with my life? So it's that like pleading to that person, like, please give me this peace of mind, because I want to move on. I don't want to be in this mind game anymore. So probably the second verse for me is my favorite.
Nice. There's a desperation to it based on how you described it now that really translates in the song, even when it sounds happy. So with that also, a while ago we were talking about fashion, matching with visuals, and I enjoyed this music video because it was like you in different outfits with different names.
Yeah.
So, and I
Yeah.
know that you came up with this concept. So how did you come up with this?
Yeah, again, keeping in line with the concept of ulit-ulit, I wanted to, repeat myself basically. Gusto ko ring ulit-ulitin yung sarili ko.
Copy paste.
Exactly. So I wanted to clone myself in the music video. And I've always had this image, this visual of like a 70s variety show. So like, the Ed Sullivan Show and the Sonny and Cher show. Very theatrical, very there's like a band set up, and I wanted to play all the individual members as myself, and I wanted their names to be a play on my name. So like my name is Jason James, so some of them were named James, some of them were named Jameson, some of them were named JJ. So yeah, I was also inspired by some of the 2000s music video, like the music video for Heya, Outcast, where Andre 3000 was also playing himself as the band members. So yeah, those are some of the main inspirations for me, and I was really excited to work with the music video director Stephanie Seiya, and I told her the concept that I have, and I was very happy with how it turned out, because she was really able to like realize my vision, and that's like one of my favorite. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm a huge fan of music videos and MTV, so that's one of my favorite concepts. One of my favorite processes is having like an idea and having things in your mind and seeing it being realized. So the process of creating music videos is really some of my favorite things, and I was really excited with coming up with the concept for this music video and having it executed the way it has been. So yeah, this is probably one of my favorite music videos that I have.
And I can feel that you really had fun with it. But share ko lang, my favorite Jason is the J Son. I don't know why that name, like, it really made me laugh.
Yeah. He's a drummer, right?
Yeah, he's a drummer, the J
He's a
Son.
drummer.
I don't know why that name was so funny, but anyway, with the different Jasons, the different outfits, different instruments, were each of them a part of you? Were each of them like different personality aspects?
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah, I wanted to like have a little bit of cosplay because I don't necessarily play all of those instruments. I only know piano and guitar. But I wanted to like how would I be as a bass player? How would I be as a drum player? So I wanted to take on these different personas for the different characters in the music video.
Nice. So, okay, back to your career for a bit. Earlier, we even talked about a little bit of your life. Well, this is off the record, but we talked about a little bit of your life before The Voice. So, knowing that you've been in this music industry for a very long time, and like you've gone through, in Taylor Swift's words, you've had different albums in different eras. So, with all of these eras of Jason, all of these sides of you, how do you manage to reinvent yourself while remaining true to yourself?
Oh, it's a good question.
Thanks.
I always try to. I think if you're not evolving and you're not constantly reinventing yourself, then what's the point? What's the point of being an artist if you're just gonna stay in that one thing? The only thing constant is change. So I always try to be. Whenever there's like I have a new release, I always try to do something that I've never done before. I always try to be forward looking in that aspect, like sonically, how will I attack this song in a way that I haven't done before? What are other sounds that I can explore? What are other styles that I can explore? And how can I incorporate that into me? But also making it make sense for me. Like I'm not gonna try different genres or like different styles of music that doesn't necessarily make sense for me. Because basically to its core, I'm an R&B pop singer. So I can incorporate a couple of probably like elements of rock, but I'm not necessarily gonna put out a strictly rock song. You know what I mean? So if I'm gonna take bits and pieces of different styles and genres here and there, it still has to make sense for me as an artist. So basically that. So if I'm gonna explore different styles and different sonic different sonic styles for myself, it always has to be Jason D at the end of the day. So I think that's how I'm gonna attack different things moving forward.
I think that's the reason why the judges in The Voice decided to turn their chairs.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
Let me ask this question. Is there a particular artist or singer that where your influence when you were starting to learn to sing and somehow is still influencing your style of singing up to this day?
Yeah, a lot of different artists. I grew up listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder, a lot of Michael Jackson, a lot of early Motown music. But also when I remember when my voice started to drop because I couldn't hit the higher notes anymore. I listened to a lot of Maxwell in the 90s. So Maxwell utilized his falsetto a lot, and that's when I realized, a guy can sing like that. It doesn't just necessarily have to sing the lower notes. You can still sing the higher notes, but in a different style. So yeah, I've incorporated a lot of falsetto singing into my style of singing. So yeah, a lot of Maxwell, a lot of Justin Timberlake. Yeah, a lot of Usher growing up. So yeah, those are basically some of my vocal and musical inspirations growing up.
All right. Yes, Celeste, go ahead.
Max, I'm also curious. From The Voice, you've been under Coach Sarah, right?
Yes.
You still reach out and get her opinion about how you sing. Do you have that kind of relationship up to this day?
Every now and then when we see each other, which is unfortunately very little already because she's very busy. But whenever we get to see each other, it's always that that warm camaraderie that we've had on The Voice. So we always catch up, and I tell her, "Hey, Coach, I have this song that I releasing soon," and she's very supportive. And I always ask her if there's something I can do or something that I can incorporate into my style. So yeah, definitely we still have that kind of relationship, which I'm very thankful for because she's been a very instrumental figure in my career. Without her guidance and without her turning for me and being my coach on The Voice, I wouldn't be where I am today. So I'm very, very thankful. I'm very happy. And I'm so excited for her upcoming concert next month. And I can't wait to watch it. So this is also the thing that I feel like the universe really has a way of,
It does.
Affecting your life, because she and I have the same anniversary. She won.
Wow.
She won Star for a Night March 1, 2002, I think 2003, and I also won March 1, 2015.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it's really quite
Yeah.
the coincidence. Like what are the odds,
Exactly.
But I think it's by design. I think so. Yeah, something that I really, really treasure is our relationship, our working relationship, and how she's been such an instrumental part in my career.
Team Sarah for the win.
Team Sarah for the win. Team Sarah always.
That's so cool. And yeah, you're right. That really shows you how the universe works in mysterious ways. So now going from Jason D, the singer, let's move to Jason D, the songwriter. So you wrote this, but have you ever experienced getting stuck in writer's block? And if you have, how do you get out of it?
Oh yeah, all the time. It really depends. Sometimes there are nights where I'm really inspired and like the words and the melodies just flow out and I can finish the song in like 30 minutes, an hour. But sometimes I have like a good idea of a melody or a good idea for a song, a concept for a song, and I start writing it and just nothing comes out. And sometimes I write a good chorus and I can't think of a good verse, or sometimes I write a good verse and can't think of a chorus. But what I usually do is I don't force it. If really nothing comes out, I remove myself from the situation. I do something else. I go for a walk, or go about my day. And if I get another flood of inspiration, I go back to it and finish it. And sometimes that can happen within the day. I take a break a little bit, do something else, and I go back to it within the day and I finish it. And sometimes it takes, weeks, months, years before I go back to it and finish it. And yeah, that's the one of the benefits of having everything on your phone, your voice memos and your notepads, and you can just scroll past. You have like a bout of inspiration, go back to your list of things that you haven't finished yet. And like, oh, I remember this one. I can finish this now because I have this new flood of inspiration. So yeah, that's usually what I do.
Well, I'm curious also if when you're in a songwriter mode, nauna ba yung lyrics or the melody for you?
It depends. It depends on the situation. Sometimes the lyrics come first when I'm really really going through it, and sometimes I don't even think about writing the song first, or like the structure, like how many syllables or whatever. I just write and write and write, and I trim it, make sure that it goes well with the flow or it goes well with the melody. But I think for me, what I realized, I'm more of a melody guy. The melody comes to me first, because I feel like when I look at my voice notes and my voice memos, I have a lot more voice memos than I have voice notes. So yeah, I could be doing the most random things. I could be on the toilet, and the thing comes up, the inspiration, the melody pops in my head. Just start recording and singing to my phone, and then I go back to it. Oh, these concepts, these words goes with this melody. So usually that's kind of like my songwriting process.
Okay, inspiration really hits at the most random moments.
Exactly.
Right. So songs like Ulit Ulit, they can be very personal, and this isn't the only song of yours where you've told like a story that seemed to be personal for you, or like a story of, as you mentioned earlier, an amalgamation of the things like you've heard and that people have told you. So when you do write these songs and these lyrics, do you ever establish a boundary between what you can share with the world and what you shouldn't share with the world, especially because songwriting is like a diary as a form of self-expression?
Oh yeah, I've written a couple of songs that I feel like I've only written them because I wanted to put out my thoughts and feelings onto paper, something that I can read, something that I can write. But I don't necessarily feel confident enough to share them to the world, because once you put it out there, it's not yours anymore. It's for everyone else to consume, it's for everyone else to listen to, and everyone else to put their own interpretations and their own life stories into your song.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I've written something that I feel it's too personal, I don't release it out. But I feel like it also comes with like time, and if you feel like you're strong, if I feel like I'm strong enough, or I feel like I'm not as vulnerable enough to release it, then maybe I'd release it. If I'm in a better headspace and I don't feel as vulnerable, then maybe I can release it in the future. But in the meantime, while I'm writing it and I feel like it's too much, I don't put it out. Because not everyone has to be, not everything has to be out there. You know, you always have to keep something for yourself, especially if it's for your own, like, you know, for your own mental health, for your own personal growth. If it's only for you, if I write it just so I can put it out there, just so there's something tactile that I can read. Doesn't necessarily mean that I have to put it out for everyone else to listen to. It's something that's mine.
And that's very important. So, Sir Les?
Yeah.
What's a particular song that you're very proud of? Probably a song that you've written, or a song that you've performed.
Well, recency bias aside, I'm really proud of this song that I'm promoting right now, because it's my first collaboration with Star Music, ABCBN Music, and I really had a lot of hand into the making of the song, not just songwriting wise, but recording and arrangement and making the music video, making the visuals and everything. Even the cover for the music video, I edited myself. I used my
Wow.
Yeah. I've used a little bit of my 2-year graphic design background into the making of the visuals and the cover art. In terms of song that I performed, probably my blind audition piece, the song that I performed for blind auditions for The Voice, which was "Stay With Me" by Sam Smith. It's quite it's a very important song for me because it really changed my life forever. And it's also quite interesting because the song wasn't necessarily the biggest hit at that time. Not a lot of people knew about the song when I performed it. I mean, it was a hit, but it wasn't like a very culturally saturating song when I performed it. But it really took on a life of its own after I performed it on the blinds. And yeah, every time I hear it, or every time I perform it, there's still a little bit of like butterflies, or like I still get nervous performing because I feel like I go back to that space where I'm competing again, and I'm just wishing that one person would turn for me. I think that was the one thing that I was always that was the one thing that I was nervous about going into the competition, is that no one was gonna turn for me. So I just wanted one person to make a turn and push that button, but 3 did, which I was very happy for. I was really happy of. So yeah, probably Stay With Me, and the song that I Ulit Ulit, which I'm promoting right now.
Nice. And we'll be looking forward to many more. But wow, I can't believe that up until like the cover of it, you edited that.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
is really your child.
I even took the photo myself.
You did?
Wow.
Yeah. Took the photo myself. I put up my own setup here at home because I also do photography. So I shot the photo myself. I made my own backdrop. So it's a lot of DIY.
How did you make that?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of DIY stuff. I bought the foil, the gold foil that I did. I made the background. It's a lot of YouTube University, a lot of YouTube tutorials.
Of course.
So yeah, so it's a lot of DIY. If I can help it, because that's the kind of person that I am, I don't like bothering other people. So if I can help it, that I can do it myself, I would do it myself. So since I do photography, I shot myself, I set up my own little backdrop, I can edit, so I edited the photo myself. But if I can't do it anymore, that's when I start asking for help. So yeah.
super nice cover art
Wow.
anyway.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Salamat po.
Yeah, it's really good. And now you're showing me and Sir Lester that, okay, when we have projects at the station, we literally have no excuses anymore. We have to make
Yeah.
it nice, even if it's a home production.
Yes, exactly. So everything's out there now. There's all of the knowledge is out there on YouTube, and you just do a little quick Google search of any tutorial. You can literally do it yourself.
Of course, but even with those tutorials and stuff and everything, like, at our fingertips because of YouTube University, you still have that creativity, like to think about the concept and of course to execute it. That just helped you execute what you wanted, but the concept was still yours.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you really have to have the vision at first, and all the other things are just tools to execute the vision. So you have to have the mindset first of what you want to create.
Exactly. All right. So, Jason, the hour is almost up. Apart from the single, is there anything else we should be watching out for? Any performances?
Yeah. Also out right now is a song that I collaborated with Sir Jonathan Manalo, who's also celebrating his 20th year in the industry. So I did a song for him for his album called Paano Ko Sasabihin. It's also out now. Yeah, of course, ASAP natin to every Sunday. Kapamilya Channel, TV5 A to Z. A lot more music coming up. I'm intending to put out an EP hopefully this year, including Ulit Ulit. So a lot more original music from me. So yeah, that's basically it. And for more updates, they can just follow my social media, and everything's on there.
All right. Okay. We're looking forward to seeing more of your original and creative concept. So before you go, what would you like the world to know about you? Preferably something that you haven't mentioned yet anywhere.
Ooh. I think what I mentioned earlier is that I like to do things by myself, almost to a fault, almost to my detriment. Because I'm just a very independent guy, and I don't like bothering other people. So if I can help it, if I can do it myself, I will do it myself. And if I can't anymore, if my capabilities are limited in that aspect, that's when I start asking for help. But yeah, but also I love collaborating with other artists, because two minds are better than one. So
of course.
Like for example, the music video director that I worked with, she is actually a fashion film director.
Okay.
So I first saw her stuff with I first saw like fashion films from her on her Instagram and stuff, and I felt like that could work with the aesthetic that I want for the music video. So that's the things that that really inspired me. It's like two worlds coming together. So like the music part and the fashion part and the filmmaking part of it, everything. So yeah, probably that. I'm not sure if I share that with a lot of people about myself. So yeah, I'm very independent kind of guy. I think it's because I grew up by myself. Like my mom worked abroad for 13 years of my life, so I grew up being very independent and just looking out for myself. But it's also very important to reach out and ask for help.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that's just the kind of guy that I am. But I'm working on it. I feel like I have to be more open and more like it's not a bad thing to ask for help. That's what I'm trying to say. Like it's not a bad thing to ask for help. It's actually important to ask for help because you can better yourself and improve yourself with the help of others. So yeah.
Of course. And there's a healthy balance between being
Exactly.
independent and
Yes.
collaborating with others. So, okay. Thank you, Jason. But before we say goodbye properly, allow me to thank a few people first. And also, let me check the comment section since we have some people saying hello. So, hello to Maria Victoria Edaponan. Thank you for joining us again. And we will see you next week. So, okay. Before we say goodbye to everyone in the audience and to our guests, please allow me to thank a few people first. This has been New Wave. So thank you to Teo for handling today's broadcast. Thank you to Sir Justin for his support from far away. To Ian and Migoy, thank you also for helping us get this episode together. Thank you, Sir Lester, for joining me for co-hosting today. And of course, to Franz and Jay, thank you for helping us get everything fixed. So once again, thank you to our audience for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you all next week, where we will be chatting with multi-awarded singer-songwriter Cool Cat Ash. Now, don't miss out. You can follow us on Instagram at newwave.rk. Head over to the Facebook page, but of course, head over to Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM's Facebook page, YouTube, and Twitter Live, all of which go by at Radyo Katipunan, so that you can, and don't forget also that you can listen to this episode and many more as a podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor under the new name New Wave. Don't forget that the replays of the visuals will be on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter on Radyo Katipunan 87.9 FM. You can also follow me on Instagram at Maxine Cruz. That's with an H at the beginning and end of the Hannah and 2 N's in the middle. But of course, most of all, thank you to our guest, Mr. Jason D, for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your journey, like, of course, talking fashion and stuff. That was fun, and we're rooting for you. We'll be listening to Ulit Ulit. No pun intended.
Thank you so much for having me. Yes, paulit-ulit niyo po sana pakinggan ang kanta kong ulit-ulit. Yeah, but thank you so much, Max and Sir Lester, for having me this afternoon. I've had a great time talking to you guys. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, and we enjoyed having you. So once again, I'm Max, and when it comes to what's happening, I'll serve you the facts. And this has been New Wave. Catch JMM in an hour. We'll see you.
We're not airing.
Oh, okay. So this was your episode pala.
Yes.
Thanks for just telling me now.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
If it's entertainment you crave, catch us on New Wave. Surfing through the latest on our shores. Every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. See you there.